People who downloaded their Google data and went through it, what were the most unsettling things you found out they had stored about you? It wasn't Google data that shocked me, I am kind of expecting it to know everything about me. This came from Instagram. My period was very late, so naturally, I told my husband in our very private and quiet home setting and bought a Clearblue pregnancy test. We don't own TV, Amazon Alexa, Google Voice or similar. I just have Reddit and Instagram on my smartphone. My period was just late, but the very next day I got bombarded by ads on Instagram about Clearblue and other pregnancy sticks and some other baby shit. There is no way that it was a coincidence since it was the second time getting a very specific ad. So the app is listening and showing me ads accordingly. Did your husband Google Clearblue on his devices? You both share the same Wi-Fi, have had devices associated before? Nope, not Googling, nothing of the sorts. I just bought it, told him, peed, got result, and that was it. I believe you. Few days ago I was in the kitchen and asked my little sister if she wanted a coffee. Halfway through making the coffee I got a notification on my phone from Joom, shopping app similar to Wish, for deals on coffee-related items, machines, capsules, etc. It creeped us out, to be honest. My friend sent us a photo of her hand with 2 different rings on, asking which one she should buy. An hour or 2 later there was an ad in her Facebook feed for those exact 2 rings. Told a coworker once, I should add this was about 2 weeks ago, about a random Chinese website I bought glasses from 3 years ago. Not even 2 minutes later an ad came up for it on Facebook. He was still standing next to me. I showed him and he was also shocked. No one Googled it or searched for it. We just talked about it. My guess is that it used location data from both of your devices to target the ad. They identified that your sister was into coffee and saw your devices were in close proximity. Edit. I love how I get downvoted for this. This isn't a theory. This is actively being used and is 10-year-old technology. Think of how Facebook makes recommendations for people you should friend. You are in a room with someone and all of a sudden the suggestion comes later that day. That is location data collected from their app, amongst other methods. That's much more of a stretch than Google simply listening to everything you're saying. I work in the industry so know a good amount about this. Voice recognition is a much more crude way to target. There is so much potential for inaccuracies. What you listen to, watch on TV, and what other people say around you are all confounding factors. The scenario I referenced is something at least a dozen companies offer and is being used by hundreds of major brands. So you're saying if I go to my friend's house who googled where to buy condoms once I will suddenly get condom ads too? Bruh. From a Facebook perspective, the friend would have to click a link and go to a site. He would also have to allow Facebook to have a plugin in his browser. Most people just click through and allow it, so it's likely he would. You would then possibly get a related ad on Facebook. Funny story on that. I was joking with wife about killing someone, and I shit you not about an hour later I get ads for Lime and Home Depot about shovels being on sale. There is a video on YouTube where a man tests out to see if Google is always listening. He just repeats the word dog and new toy a few times. He immediately got ads trying to sell him dog toys after he refreshed his browser. Just type in Google is always listening on YouTube if you want to see that video. The most unsettling came from Facebook, of which I uninstalled and deleted my account right after that. I'll keep it short. Friend's father abandoned him and his mother when he was about 7, and the father never reached out. 2 years ago he had a tough day, and we talked about his dad and how life would be different if he did not bail on them. At the same night I was scrolling through Facebook and some old guy that looked very similar to my friend showed up as suggested friends. Immediately I took a screenshot and showed it to him. It was indeed his father that he never talked to for about 18 years. Mind you, my friend never created a Facebook account nor used other platforms, so we talked strictly through Steam. How in the hell did they suggested that to me? I did not even know had anybody with common friends, and it literally popped the same night after a heart-to-heart. The fancy algorithm and being a friend of a relative does that, I guess. Except I did not have any one of his family members added. We met online, so I do not know any of his family. A bit late to this thread, but what I believe may have happened is that they might have predicted your friend talking about them to someone and you being friends, so it added that to it. Even if you only talk on Steam, if you've ever been physically close or have mutual friends added on Facebook, it can correlate that. If this sounds out of the ordinary, remember that they have predicted pregnancies before the mother even knew. When I discovered Google Maps timeline feature, it was cool at first, flicking through years of location data, looking at when I'd been on trips, being amazed at how it had guessed what attractions I'd visited, how I'd got there, etc. Then a few weeks later it dawned on me. Through that little rectangle of glass and plastic in my pocket, Google knows where I am every minute of the day. It knows where I live, where I work, what route I take between the two, what times I'm likely to leave and arrive, what my favorite places to visit are, where and when I like to shop. What do I get out of this? It saves me 5 seconds when searching by suggesting places I've visited before. But if someone wanted to ruin my life and got a hold on some of that data, they could seriously screw me over. No thanks. I don't think the point of concern is individual people looking at your stuff, at least, not on the larger scale. The bigger point is how your data can be used against you for the benefit of companies, for example by potential employers, advertisers, or government agencies, which have no business making a judgment based off of your personal information, especially without your permission. Also, in a worst-case scenario, there may be something in your data that suggests illegal activity, whether you realized it was illegal or not, and regardless of whether it even happened. If a government agency was looking to, say, curtail the number of people talking shit about the government, all they'd need to do is find those little infractions to make a case against you, and anyone that rolls their eyes at the suggestion the government would ever do this hasn't been paying attention lately. It's the same reason why you don't talk to the cops. You don't know what little thing you might say that they'll latch onto to make a case against you. And this is to say nothing about the benefits of this amount of information on people for foreign nations looking to run influence campaigns that threaten our democracy. Cambridge Analytica did not steal anyone's data. Edit. And to the point about companies, background checks are a thing. It doesn't matter how much data there is or how boring you think it is, there are programs being developed and used that parse it for the juicy bits, compile little details into profiles on your personality and values, your likes and dislikes, etc. All it takes is for an employer to see a profile suggesting you might not be a socially upbeat person, and suddenly you don't get the job. Anyone who thinks they're not interesting enough to worry about their own privacy is fooling themselves. You're plenty interesting to certain people, especially those that are looking for reasons to judge you, for example people running background checks. Shit, does the Google Home in my bedroom listen to girlfriend and I have pillow fights? If you have a smartwatch or fitness band, with its gravity sensor and accelerometers, it also knows how hard your pillow hits are, whether anyone was knocked over or standing or running around, how the fight affected your heart rate minute by minute, and how long the whole pillow fight lasted. As a bonus, since they associate family and friend relationships, and even just connections coming from the same router, they'd also see everyone's app launcher browser habits trailing each pillow fight. I am sure not at your home, friend, but including if someone usually doesn't get enough thrill of the fight from their pillow fights, and so has a habit of wandering off afterward and pulling up videos of other people having pillow fights.